Oh, swamp, what are you hiding beneath this mist? The village of New Orleans sleeps soundly. Only Amara sits lighting a lamp beside the glossy black mortar, a wedding gift from her stepmother. As the pestle touches the mortar, the sound echoes like a faint heartbeat. The air thickens with the scent of mud and old ash. Suddenly, a woman's voice hums from within the mortar. "Return me to the water." Amara startles in fear, but behind her, she hears footsteps. It's her father, Jeremiah, standing in the shadows, his eyes averted. Far off in the distance, the villagers sing a harvest prayer. Their voices blend with the river's murmur like an ancient rite. But somewhere amid that singing, something feels wrong. Is the village itself hiding the same sin? Once upon a time in an old African-American community, where the Louisiana swamp exhales heavy dampness like the breath of ancestors, moonlight spills down in thin layers of mist, dissolving into the silent flow of the Mississippi. The croaking of frogs mingles with distant drum beats from the village. It's like the heartbeat of the earth. In a small wooden house nestled among ancient oak groves, Amara jolts awake. The air is thick with the smell of mud, charcoal ash, and dried wildflowers. Her stomach twists in pain. It spreads through her body like 1,000 icy knives slicing. When her trembling hand reaches down, her palm comes away wet. Under the dim oil lamp, the dark red fluid spreads like a wilted petal. She gasps for breath. Her lips quiver, her heart pounding wildly in her chest. In the kitchen corner, the ebony mortar and pestle her stepmother Celeste's intricately carved wedding gift lie silent. But its black wooden surface seems to breathe. Cold seeps out in waves, spreading through the room like an invisible fog. Outside, wind rustles through the oak branches, whispering like restless spirits. Under the silver moonlight, the swamp shimmers. A figure glides across the water, long hair like seaweed, golden scales glinting like 1,000 shattered lights. The mermaid appears, not the sweet image from old tales, but a form both beautiful and pained, carrying a warning. Her eyes, bright as amber hidden in deep water, lock onto Amara through the window. Water rises around her body. It forms a glowing golden halo reflecting onto the wooden ceiling. Amara can't look away. The mermaid's lips move silently, but Amara feels the sound not through her ears, but through her skin, through every trembling vein. A slow, sorrowful song, like the river's cry as it swallows an innocent soul. The moonlight shifts slightly. Wind carries the briny scent of brackish water. Up on the kitchen shelf, her mother's old picture frame tilts crookedly. Dust falls like scattered ashes. In an instant, memories flood back, the memory of a child standing on the riverbank, waiting for her mother's figure rowing away amid folk songs that never returned. As the pain subsides, Amara collapses her head onto the pillow. Tears mix with sweat, salty as swamp mud. The moon watches her, cold and silent. In the quiet night, she hears a soft, steady tapping, like a heartbeat rising from the earth's core. Not hers, not the house's, but from where the mortar rests. The ebony mortar, the gift handed over by Celeste's hands on the wedding day, amid cheers and the scent of honey wine. She remembers that woman's eyes, cold, glossy, and deep as bottomless water. "Use it to hold on to your happiness," Celeste said as she placed the mortar in Amara's hands. Back then, Amara only felt warmth in her heart. She thought it was a blessing. But now, in the moonlit night heavy with the smell of blood, those words echo like a curse. The tapping inside the mortar grows clearer. One beat, then two, then three, like the cry of a trapped soul knocking on the wood to be remembered. Moonlight streams through the window slats, falling on the mortar's face. It makes the twisted carvings around its body glow. A golden fish coiled around a water serpent, two creatures both opposing and merging in a circle. That light moves, as if breathing. Amara tries to convince herself it's all a hallucination from the pain and fear. But when she closes her eyes, the room's wind stops. The world pauses for a moment. Then another breath, not hers, brushes her nape. The scent of fresh mud, river water, and smoldering wood blends thick as smoke. She whips around, but sees no one. Only the mortar lies there, silent and darker than before, as if it has sucked the last light from the room. Amara slumps down, her body chilled to the bone. On the wall, the oil lamp sways. Its light swings like an observing eye. She hears the river's echo returning, each wave like a sigh. The mermaid is still there, flickering through the mist, her golden hair reflecting the moonlight. Water steams around her body like fog, blurring every line, leaving only those bright eyes gazing at Amara, and gaze not of a stranger, but of one who knows the fate drawing near. Amara closes her eyes. Her heart races. In the haze between wakefulness and dream, she sees the image of a strange woman, curly hair, a red scarf around her neck, her face blurring in black smoke. The woman screams, reaches out, then is dragged back into the mortar. That voice whispers, unclear if pleading or warning, "Return me to the water." As dawn's light sneaks through the door crack, Amara sits silent at the table. The sun isn't fully up, but the light has faded on the golden scales of last night's dream. On the kitchen floor, amid streaks of ash, the ebony mortar remains, heavy as a speaking witness. She feels it clearly. What lies within it is not just Celeste's blessing, but the breath of a soul waiting to be freed. The river outside flows quietly, but in that water, if you listen closely, you might hear a faint sound, like the mermaid's golden song, a melody unfinished, waiting for an answer. And before we continue the main story content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video, okay? And don't forget to comment below to let us know where you're watching us from. We love hearing that. The sun rises slowly over the Louisiana swamp, casting pale golden light on the ancient weathered oak trunks. The morning air carries the scent of brackish water, mud, and forgotten time. Amara sits on the porch. Sunlight falls on her pale face. Last night's mermaid dream and the tapping from the mortar still linger in her mind. She hears the distant river flow, like the endless sigh of some unrested soul. Deep inside her, something stirs a vague premonition that that night was only the beginning. Amara's village nestles between oak forests and swamp waters, where tree roots dig deep into the earth like ancestors' hands still clutching this land. The villagers wake to rooster crows and church bells. The bells ring through the morning mist, long, dry, and off-key, sounding more like a warning than an invitation to prayer. Amara drapes a dark shawl over her shoulders, steps out of the house, walking the dirt path to the wooden church at the village center. It's the place she still seeks for calm, but today, her steps feel heavier than ever. She passes gnarled oak roots, old moss-covered graves, shells and stones left as offerings to ancestral spirits. Everything seems strangely quiet. As the church door closes behind her, the scent of pine wood mixes with burning wax. Light filters through stained glass windows, pouring purple, blue, and yellow streaks onto the floor like spilled memories, bleeding across the wood. Amara kneels, clasps her hands in prayer. She begs for peace, begs to understand the messages from her dreams. But as her eyelids close, it's not light but darkness that rushes in. In her mind, she sees the golden mermaid's face again, eyes that speak, singing a song no human tongue can comprehend. That song tells of betrayal, of sins buried under black mud, of souls trapped between worlds. The church's wooden door creaks softly. An elderly woman, Mama Ruth, enters, her eyes dodging Amara's. "You're here to pray again?" Her voice hoarse and trembling. Amara nods faintly, but Mama Ruth doesn't approach. She stands at the door, hands clasped, muttering something like a warding incantation. Amara realizes, not just her, but everyone in the village lately has looked at her differently. Their gazes hold fear, secretive, as if she carries something that shouldn't exist. Outside, the church begins filling with people. They sing hymns, voices rising like wind through the oaks. But to Amara, the melody turns cold, disjointed, like frayed threads no longer tied to faith. She feels adrift in the community she once loved. In those averted looks, in those forced smiles, she reads something: fear. Not just fear of Celeste, the woman they revere for her herbal healing, but fear of what Celeste has sown into this land. Legends say that generations ago, this swamp had women who guarded the boundary between human and divine. They were called the Water Keepers, able to speak with river spirits. But over time, belief turned to suspicion. Those women were cast out, forced to live in shadows, changing names, changing identities. And now, Celeste, Amara's stepmother, is the last one holding that secret. She used that power to bind alliances, to heal the sick, to grant fertility to barren women in the village. In return, they offered a piece of their soul to the water. And so, the unspoken oath was made. The community endures, but at its heart is a quiet mire where fear, gratitude, and guilt blend like swamp water. Amara heard the tales, but never believed, until she became part of the story herself with the ebony mortar on her table, with blood on her bed, with the song from the river. As evening falls, mist rolls in from the swamp's edge. Amara leaves the church, walks the tree-shaded path. She stops before her father's small house. Jeremiah sits on the porch, sharpening an old knife, forge flames reflecting in his eyes like twin steel streaks. He looks at his daughter, a weary smile. No one speaks. Wind gusts through, scattering glowing embers. In that light, Amara sees her father's hand bears a long scar running down his wrist, a mark from a ritual she's never known. She wants to ask, but the words choke. She only bows her head, gazes at the man's hands, thinner now, once her protective wall. In his eyes, a flickering light dances between love and guilt, between secrecy and plea. As swamp wind blows through, the rustling leaves whisper, "Don't ask him, you won't bear it." That night, Amara can't sleep. Drum beats from the village echo, deep and steady, blending with insect chirps. But hidden within, she hears another sound, low murmurs, like a secret meeting somewhere. She rises, peers through the window. Far off, at the church, torches flicker. A group walks in a line, hooded cloaks, singing as they go. They're not parishioners, they belong to the Waterkeeper's circle. Their voices merge with the wind, stretching into a strange soul-summoning chant. Amara freezes. She knows she's witnessing what villagers deny. They call on the Lord by day in church, but at night, they bow to the river. In their song, she hears them name Mother Water, the one who blesses and punishes. That tone isn't in the Bible. It comes from the swamp's depths, where ancestors bargained with spirits. Mist covers the ground. The singing fades. Inside the house, the ebony mortar taps 3 beats softly, as if answering the chants outside. Amara closes her eyes. Her heart sinks. Between her and the village, between light and dark, no clear lines remain. Everything merges into a river flowing backward. Outside, the golden-scaled mermaid appears again, no longer on the river's surface, but in a dream beneath a water-flooded church dome. She sings, her voice weaving with morning bells. "River's child, look around you. It's not one soul bound, but a whole village." Amara startles awake, sweat soaking her back. Outside, dawn rises, staining the river red. She understands, the darkness isn't just in the mortar or Celeste, it creeps into the hearts of those she once trusted. Many years later, when the storms of childhood had receded, Amara left the swamp village for New Orleans. The city pulses like dawn jazz. Sunlight streams through wooden shutters onto rain-slicked streets. Hoofbeats, vendors' calls, and church bells blend into a rhythm that never fades. Here, amid unfamiliar faces, Amara opens a small sewing shop, its window overlooking the Mississippi, the river still breathing in sync with her homeland, but clearer here, scented with salt instead of mud. With each needle stitch, each thread run, Amara embroiders ancestral memories, river motifs, golden scales, lotus flowers rising from mud. Her hands move gracefully, soft yet resilient, like her own life. Locals come to commission, not just for her skill, but believing every dress she makes brings luck. They say her fabric has soul, though she only smiles faintly. She knows, the only soul she carries is her mother's, trapped in the mortar, still seeking a way home. That day, Caleb enters the shop in slanting golden afternoon light. The man with deep brown skin, eyes like deep water, voice soft as a passing breeze. He doesn't come just for a vest. He comes, as if crossing 1,000 rains to find peace's breath. Caleb's gaze lingers on the embroidery frame where Amara sits, a cloth stitched with a fish and serpent coiled together. He says, in a low, steady voice, that the image reminds him of ancient symbols of balance. From that day, he returns more often. They talk of small things, autumn in the bayou, old Creole songs, memories of a mother's hands combing a daughter's hair by the window. Sometimes Amara smiles, her eyes hiding distant sorrow. Caleb listens, without interrupting, as if he knows some pains need no explanation. In that silence, something quietly takes root. Their love comes not like lightning, but like morning mist, silent, enduring, soaking into everyday fabric. Caleb brings Amara what she thought lost faith that human hearts still hold space for light. And one afternoon, as the sky drapes in golden dusk, he proposes. No orchestra, no roses, just the river, birdsong, and swamp wind carrying the salty scent of home. On the wedding day, the African-American community of New Orleans gathers. Djembe drums thrum like ancient heartbeats, blending with gospel hymns, linking Africa's soil to this land. Torches flicker, reflecting on radiant faces. Amara wears a white silk gown she sewed herself, embroidered with golden lotuses blooming from mud, fish scales shimmering in every stitch. She walks amid her sister's songs, a fiddle's wail stretching like waves. Amid the light and music, a figure approaches slowly. Celeste, black hair tied neatly, eyes cold as water mirrors. She wears deep purple, ivory bracelet carved with swirling wave symbols on her wrist. Everyone bows, revering the woman who saved many from illness with herbal magic. Amara trembles slightly as she nears, herbal and ash scents wafting. Celeste embraces Amara, a honey-sweet smile, but her eyes don't smile. She hands Amara a deep red silk box. Inside, the glossy ebony mortar and pestle, carved with two creatures, a water serpent coiled around a golden-scaled fish gleaming in the sunday. A family heirloom, Celeste murmurs. Use it to hold your happiness. The blessing sounds like an ancient prayer. As Amara's hand touches the wood, cold spreads from her fingertips to her heart. From somewhere, she hears a faint sound, a weak pulse, like someone's heart echoing from within the mortar. She glances at Jeremiah, her father standing nearby. He avoids her eyes, lips pressed tight, hand trembling slightly. In that moment, Amara's intuition rises like a wave. He's hiding something, but she says nothing, unwilling to shatter the joyful air around her. Drums, songs, laughter overlay everything, like silk veiling heart cracks. On their wedding night, Amara places the mortar on the kitchen table. She admires it under the oil lamp, carvings rising, twisting like a serpent's body. The golden fish's eyes inlaid with gems gazing at her. She touches it, feels the wood undulate, like skin still warm. Outside, river wind whispers, and in her heart, a nameless fear stirs. She sits watching the small hearth fire, recalling Celeste's eyes when giving the gift. Not a stepmother blessing her child, but eyes sending a burden. But then Caleb's footsteps sound. He arrives, his arms warm, his words like a gentle breeze chasing shadows. Amara smiles, letting her heart rest a little. Outside, the swamp sleeps. Moonlight floods the water, illuminating oak shadows. But in the new home, the ebony mortar lies silent, golden fish scales faintly gleaming in the lamplight, like a watchful creature's gaze awaiting awakening. The night passes. Amara drifts off in her husband's arms, but sleep isn't deep. In the dream, she sees the golden-scaled mermaid in the river again, but this time, she doesn't sing. She weeps. Her tears fall, turning to pearl strings dissolving into waves. From deep in the water, another voice rises, low, hoarse, full of resentment. I'm still here, bound in the wood. When you took the gift, you took my unfinished oath. Amara wakes gasping, cold sweat wetting her hair. Dim lamplight casts on the wall, the mortar's shadow sharp, not still. She listens. A soft tap sounds. One beat, then two, then three. That sound blends with the river waves outside, like a slow song returning. Outside, wind rises. Moonlight beams on the water, reflecting distant, flashing golden scales. The mermaid gazes up at the house, her eyes shining, head tilting like a witness to fate sealed. Her song weaves into the wind, a silent question drifting along the river. Can love veil the shadow of an ancient oath? That night, no wind stirs, but the Mississippi swamp water ripples with strange waves. The moon hangs like an ancestral god's eye, casting pale blue light on Amara's roof. In the kitchen, the ebony mortar lies still, but its cold spreads like a deep breath from another world. Amara can't sleep. From the bed, she hears every tiny wood creak, every faint vibration in the mortar's core, as if someone breathes, calls her name on the wind. She leaves the bed, oil lamp in hand, bare feet on cold floorboards. When light hits the kitchen corner, what she sees stops her heart. The mortar isn't in its place. It's moved just inches, but enough to notice. On the floor, a thin water trail, like a thread, stretching to the window. Amara kneels, touches the water. Swamp mud scent rises, musty, briny, and at the mortar's bottom, amid overlapping carvings, something moves. A dim golden light, like fish scales, flickers. Then a thin smoke tendril curls up. Amara recoils. The lamp shakes in her hand. Smoke swirls into a human shape, a female shadow, hair trailing to the ground, eyes hollow. No flesh, no voice, just the form of a soul torn between water and fire. The shadow turns toward her, not with body motion, but intuition. And a voice echoes in Amara's mind, low and damp like a river's rumble. I was imprisoned here. My blood keeps the curse alive, and you called me forth. Amara trembles. The lamp drops from her hand, flame dies, darkness engulfs the kitchen. She stands frozen, hearing only her heartbeat. In the dark, the spirit speaks again, this time slow and sad. I was once a mother, once loved, but jealousy chained me in this wood. When you took the gift, you carried my unfinished oath. The voice fades, dissolving into silence. As moonlight slips through the slats, the smoke vanishes. The mortar falls silent again, but within, the golden scales still glow faintly, a slow pulse, like an unrested soul. Amara collapses. The image burns clear in her mind. A woman bound by the riverbank, eyes wide as Celeste, in purple robes sprinkles ash powder and chants. The mermaid's song rises from below, mournful to the bone, but no one saves that soul. Flesh melts into water. Only heart and blood flow into the ebony mortar. From then, a piece of the soul locked away, waiting for another to unwittingly unlock. And that one is her. The next morning, Amara carries the mortar to the yard, sets it in the Sunday, but light doesn't warm it. The wood stays cold, like metal. In her head, Mama Ruth's words echo, whispered to her father years ago. Things sealed with blood fear no sun, only holy water. That saying flashes like light in her mind. She hurries to her father Jeremiah, the only one left with ancient knowledge. He's at the forge, red flames casting shadows on his face. As Amara enters, he startles, deep eyes gleaming with regret. She says nothing, just sets the mortar on the table. Firelight reflects on the wood, casting ethereal shadows like opening eyes. Jeremiah stares long, then whispers, I told Celeste to stop, but she said it was the only way to protect your mother's soul. I didn't know what she traded for that power. Amara freezes. So Celeste isn't just jealous. She bargained not just to destroy, but to trap her mother's soul in that very object, turning it into a tool controlling the living and dead. Rage and grief tear together, rising in Amara. She grabs the mortar, turns and leaves, her father's call lost in the wind. She walks through grass, past oak rows, toward the swamp where the river lies like a giant mirror. Her shadow stretches long, trembling. At the bank, she kneels. Icy water touches her knees. She sets the mortar on the surface, and from the river's heart, the song rises, that song of the golden-scaled mermaid, echoing everywhere. The song no longer mournful, but strong, calling. The water stirs, moonlight shatters into golden shards, falling on Amara's hair. In that light, the mermaid's form appears, golden scales blazing, reflecting on the mortar. She gazes at Amara, eyes wet but steadfast. Her lips move. Don't let that soul sink. Return it to the water. Amara understands. She lifts the mortar, hurls it into the river. Water splashes, brilliant, but instead of sinking, it floats, spins, then emits crimson light like blood. A scream echoes across the swamp, the trapped soul's cry in the wood, her mother's plea for rescue. The air shakes. Amara cries out, calls her mother's name through tears, but the river surges back, swallowing her voice. Suddenly, a slender hand rises from the water, the golden-scaled mermaid's hand, reaching to grasp the mortar. Light from her scales radiates, blinding. The wood cracks. From deep fissures, steam pours, mud and ash scents mingling. A figure steps from the smoke-familiar face, gentle, eyes warm as old sunlight, Amara's mother. She wants to run to her, but her feet root. The mother only smiles faintly, lips moving. You've opened the path, but you don't know yet the village's darkness remains. The light snaps off. The river stills. The mortar dissolves to black ash, drifting toward the horizon. Amara kneels, tears merging with river water. Swamp wind blows, cold and clear. In the wind, the mermaid's voice rises again, distant and soft. Freeing one soul isn't enough to save all. Look around you, the living carry the same darkness. Amara lifts her head. From afar, torches flicker on the village path. She knows, something waits there, unfinished prophecy. And now, dear viewers, pause a moment to hit subscribe before watching the story's main part, but only if you truly connect with what I'm sharing here. And leave a comment below to tell me where you're watching from and what time it is now. The next morning, thick fog blankets the village like a white veil. Oaks droop low branches, roots intertwine like ancient arms hiding secrets. The Mississippi flows silent, its surface mirroring a sky drowned in ash. No more mermaid song, only whined through the trees like sighs of souls half freed, half unrested. Amara walks barefoot through muddy paths. Mud clings to her skirt hem, cold as a dead hand. Earth, algae, and smoke scents mix in the air, thick to suffocate. She feels someone watching from behind, but each turn reveals only trembling old tree shadows in the mist. From afar, the wooden church emerges like a beached ship in the swamp. Bells toll faintly. But instead of calling the flock to prayer, it sounds like warning. As Amara nears, she notices the oddity, the church door ajar. Inside, unintelligible whispers rise. She enters, step by step. Dim candlelight glows on smoke-stained walls. Dozens of people, familiar village faces kneel, hands clasped, mouths murmuring. At the altar, not the familiar cross, but a large water bowl on a stone table, reflecting molten golden light. On the surface, a golden fish scale floats, circling like alive. Amara stands still. She understands instantly the water keeper's ritual, the secret circle Mama Ruth once mentioned, revived by Celeste herself. The community has lived double lives, praying to God by day, to river gods by night, trading souls for harvests and peace. And now, with the curse broken, they fear, for they believe blood calls for blood. Mama Ruth rises, her headscarf draping, old eyes bright as night fire. She looks at Amara, voice trembling yet resonant. You released the soul. You don't know what you've done, Amara. Amara doesn't reply. She scans the room, sees familiar faces. The neighbor who brought her porridge as a child, the blacksmith who worked with her father, even Laia Celeste's daughter standing back, eyes full of resentment. All bow heads, none dare meet her gaze. In their eyes, she's no longer the village child, but the one who awakened the ancient oath. A strong gust blows through, extinguishing candles. The sanctuary darkens. Only faint light from the water bowl remains. On the surface, the scale spins, then dissolves into golden smoke. Whispers in the room halt. Mama Ruth raises a trembling hand. She hasn't gone. Celeste isn't dead. Her soul clings to the swamp, and if unrested, we all pay the price. Amara steps back, heart pounding. She isn't dead, means the soul lingers, seeking a host. In her mind flashes last night's image, black ash drifting on water, invisible eyes watching from depths. Then suddenly, laughter rings out. Cold, dry, metallic like filed steel. Everyone turns. At the church's end, the door bursts open. Wind rushes in, carrying burned herb scent. A figure enters Laia, Celeste's daughter. Her skirt billows, hair twisting in the wind. Her eyes strange, not brown anymore, but gleaming gold, bright as fish scales. You think you can bury my mother? Her voice echoes through the sanctuary, not fully Laia's, laced with aged, bitter tones. She hasn't gone. She's in me, and I'll finish what she started. The room freezes. Mama Ruth recoils, muttering prayers. Water in the bowl boils, white steam rising. Golden light spreads, enveloping everyone. Amara backs away, eyes fixed on Laia. In her eyes, Celeste's shadow lurks a smirking, twisted face, lips moving as if saying, "Your happiness is my sin." Screams erupt, candles explode, hot wax splattering everywhere. People scatter in panic. Amara falls to the floor, hand instinctively touching the water bowl. The water chills to the bone, but when she looks up, the surface doesn't reflect the ceiling, but another riverbank where the golden-scaled mermaid rises amid black waves. She stares straight at Amara, golden eyes like torches. You can't run. The darkness isn't out there. It's in your blood. The vision snaps. Amara gasps, surrounded by smoke and cries. As she crawls up, the church empties. Only the shattered bowl remains, water spilling on the floor, mixing with candle wax and blood. The golden scale bobs, sparkling like a creature's eye watching her. She understands. Celeste's soul hasn't just possessed Laia. It seeped into the village blood those who received favors, who bowed in prayer. The darkness isn't one lone soul. It's a web of sins woven through generations. Amara flees the church. Outside, heavy rain pours. Lightning rips the swamp. Rain mixes with river water, rising fast. Small houses begin flooding. Shouts, prayers, spirit-calling drums rise in chaos. Amid the turmoil, Amara sees Laia on the steps, hair matted, golden eyes like torches. "I'll make you feel my loss, Amara." Celeste's voice booms through Laia, furious and rasping. "You took everything, my man, my love, my bloodline. Now, I'll take your soul." Amara doesn't answer. Rain lashes her face, cold and salty. In that moment, she hears the mermaid's song again, distant, but stronger than ever. The melody surges like a river in her veins. Golden scales gleam in Amara's eyes, mingling with lightning. For a second, sky and river merge as one. Darkness swallows light, and the battle between two forces of blood, water, faith begins. Under the rain, amid drums and thunder, Amara stands alone, facing Laya, vessel of Celeste's soul. The river behind them churns, golden bright, awaiting judgment. Will the light in Amara's blood be strong enough to save the village? Or will it be devoured by the very darkness her ancestors sowed? The Louisiana sky cracks open, unleashing a strange golden rain. Not the usual silver gray, but shimmering light, like 1,000 fish scales melting into the air. The rain falls on the swamp, making the water surface sparkle like shattered mirrors. Wind howls, thunder crashes, and in the storm's heart, Amara stands small but radiant, her dress clinging wet, curly hair drenched, eyes resolute. Opposite, Laya, or rather Celeste in Laya's body, steps from the half-collapsed church. Lightning illuminates her face, half youthful, half withered like ash. On her forehead a glowing crack, where Celeste's ancient soul worms beneath the daughter's skin. Wind whips her black hair, weaving with rain into black silk ribbons dancing in flashes. Amara looks around. The village drowns in chaos, houses swept by water, villagers kneel roadside, praying and weeping. Some carry torches, fleeing to high ground. Others kneel by the river, believing only Mother Water can save them. But as river water rises, the surface no longer mirrors the sky, but the golden-scaled mermaid's eyes, blazing, staring straight at her. Wind blows so fiercely, boards rip from roofs, spiraling into the air. The storm carries song, the old melody from Amara's dreams, now a sacred call. The mermaid is no longer a distant spirit. She merges with the rain, the water, every golden drop falling on Amara's skin. Under the hazy light, Amara closes her eyes. She feels her blood flowing, hot and bright, like fire in every vein. The river within her, and without, become one. She sees her mother's image, the gentle woman of old, appearing in the rain, arms outstretched, eyes glowing with forgiveness. "You paid my debt," her voice like wind. "Now let me help you end this." Amara opens her eyes. Before her, Celeste advances, hand raised high, long fingers trembling aglow, like roots sprouting from blood. Air around her thickens with ash scent, burned root aroma, and droning ancient chants. Wind suddenly stills a terrifying silence, as if the world holds its breath. Black smoke shoots from Celeste's hand toward Amara, coiling like a serpent. She dodges, but a tendril grazes her shoulder, leaving a deep burn, smoke rising like a breathing wound. Amara crumples, hand plunging into mud, blood mixing with rain. Briny scent spreads. But amid pain, she hears Mother Watt's voice, not from sky or river, but from within. Faith isn't fighting the dark. Faith is standing still in it until light returns. Amara clenches her fist. From the ground, tiny lights rise, not flames, but golden rain glows gathering around her, swirling into a circle like the dissolved ebony mortar. The river surges, reflecting the mermaid's face. She tilts her head, scales blazing, eyes holding pity and boundless power. Celeste hisses, hand raised high, but each black burst she hurls, rain tears to dust. Water drops hit her skin, steaming. She shrieks, "You can't steal what's mine." But Amara doesn't reply. She kneels in the water, arms wide. The river behind erupts in light, a water column rising like a giant mirror reflecting sky and earth. In that watery glass, ancestral souls appear, dark-skinned women, shoulders draped in white cloth, hands holding candles, singing in a forgotten ancient tongue. Their song blends with the golden mermaids, a harmony of human and divine. Celeste's darkness yanks backward, shattering into smoke strands. She thrashes, eyes flooded with hate. In a moment, Laya's voice, the possessed girl's, rises from deep within, faint and desperate. "Help me, Amara. I don't want to become my mother." Amara closes her eyes, tears mixing with rain. She steps toward Celeste, touches Laya's forehead. Light spreads, white and gold blending, blazing like midday sun in night. A scream echoes across the swamp, then silence. When Amara opens her eyes, only she and Laya kneel in water. Wind has stopped. In the sky, rain falls softer, warm, clear. Celeste is gone, no body, no smoke. Only the ivory bracelet falls on the water, carved with swirling waves. It drifts lazily, then sinks, returning the final debt to the river. Amara looks around. The village floods, but people live. They emerge from homes, eyes bewildered and awed. Mama Ruth stands on steps, moonlight on silver hair. She nods faintly, lips moving in prayer. No one speaks, but all understand. The village darkness washed away, not by fire, but faith and forgiveness. Amara kneels, hand on water, cold, but her heart warms. Beneath thin waves, she sees the golden-scaled mermaid smile, eyes bright as dawn. Her scales sparkle, reflecting clearing sky. You've restored the river's flow, her voice rings, and your own soul. Amara bows her head, a tear dissolves into receding water. The sky opens, gold and blue weaving like fresh silk. From afar, villagers' song rises, not incantation, but thanksgiving. Amid those sounds, Amara stands, her soaked dress gleaming gold in new light. Gentle wind blows, carrying post-rain earth scent, renewed life. The swamp no longer fearsome, but gentle, like a forgiving mother. High above, a golden scale-shaped light streaks clouds, fading like Mother Watt's smile. Amara turns toward the village. She knows her journey isn't over, for faith doesn't end at salvation, but in keeping that light forever in the heart. She clutches her mother's necklace, breathes deep the damp air. Lingering raindrops fall on her shoulder, dissolving slowly like blessings. The next morning, the Louisiana swamp feels baptized. Sunlight pierces thin mist, water droplets on oak leaves sparkling like pearls. Egrets wing low over water, wing beats slow like a freed soul's breath. New Orleans village no longer drowns in last night's chaos, but quiets, contemplative, as if all await heaven's judgment. Amara sits by the riverbank, hands dangling, her dress mud-caked. Rain stopped, but vapor mists her face, skin damp and cool. The Mississippi flows gently again, carrying golden glows beneath, each small wave like a heartbeat, reminding her life never left just hidden shadows. In the sky, thin smoke rises from rekindled home fires. Villagers quietly clean, mend, rebuild roofs. They speak little, but each eye gleams changed as if after the storm, all illuminated. In those eyes, Amara sees no doubt or fear, but quiet faith. From afar, goatskin drums sound not fierce as sacrifices, but slow, steady, like Earth's pulse. Mama Ruth, silver-haired as clouds, wraps in white cloth, steps to the village square. She stands, arms raised to sky, then bows. Villagers gather around her. No invitation needed. They know today isn't for begging, but gratitude. Amara rises, joins the circle silently. Wind lifts her hair gently, blending mud, smoke, and wildflower scents. Mama Ruth begins singing the saved soul's song. It's not loud, not strong, but carries far, spreading with water, wind, deep drum beats. The song tells of the river carrying ancestors' souls, of women who bore water with faith and tears, of curses burned under golden light. As it swells, Amara feels her shoulders lighten, as if someone lifts a stone cloak worn for years. In the circle, she lifts her head to sky. Clouds part, revealing pure blue. High above, a light streak passes the last golden scale of Mother Watt. The mermaid no longer appears, but in every breeze, every sun ray, Amara knows that soul watches. Jeremiah, her father, steps from the crowd, eyes welling, salt and pepper hair. Calloused hands tremble, touching her shoulder. He says nothing. That touch alone makes Amara weep. In her tear, her mother's image, the departed woman seems to appear, standing beside Mother Watt, smiling kindly. Villagers kneel together, hands linked, eyes closed. Prayer rises, blending with water trickling at feet. May the river never be stolen. May living and dead souls merge as one. May faith never be forgotten. Those words come not from one, but all a once fearful, divided community now bound like roots in mud. Wind stirs, ringing small bells on boats. The chimes blend with song, forming rebirth's chord. Amara closes her eyes. Her heart fills with strange warmth. She recalls every dark moment, the mortar's taps, blood, Celeste's ghost, mermaid dreams, all now dissolve like smoke, leaving only clear water. She knows what let her survive wasn't supernatural power, but unstealable faith. That faith turned grief to light, curse to song. At noon, as sun climbs high, villagers gather by the river, erecting a tall beeswax candle in the earth. Mama Ruth hands Amara the flame from the old church, once defiled by Celeste. Amara kneels, lights it. Flame leaps, golden as fish scales, reflecting in every eye. No one speaks. but all know it's the new era's starting fire. As it burns, smoke swirls skyward in spirals, like the mortar's lost carvings. But this time, no black ash scent, only sweet resin and honey. Villagers breathe deep, feeling cleansed. Amara gazes far, sees children running on grass, feet splashing golden puddles, laughter ringing. That laugh like music, joyful, pure, chasing death's echoes. She smiles a smile free of fear, unshadowed. River water flows, carrying white petals drifting lazily. Amara picks one, kisses it, then releases to water. It spins, then drifts away, like farewell to departed souls, her mother, Laya, Celeste. No hate left, only release. Afternoon falls, golden sunlight blankets the swamp. Ancient oaks by the river droop, leaves waving like greetings. Each gust, Amara hears ancient whispers, ancestors' voices, waters, her own as an orphaned child by the hearth. All merge into one song, the survivor's song. Amara leaves the circle, walks riverbank, feet sinking in soft mud. She needs no longer seek the mermaid, for she's everywhere. In light, water, her own heartbeat. Far off, first dusk stars twinkle, like 1,000 dancing fish scales in sky. Amara pauses, bows in thanks. She knows tonight, as moon rises, the golden-scaled mermaid will sing not warning anymore, but welcoming human soul rebirth. She smiles, breathes deep, letting swamp wind caress her skin. A new chapter begins, and this time, no darkness strong enough to swallow that light. All right, dear viewers of mine, if you're watching and find this story captivating, comment number 1, or I'm still here to keep listening, okay? Night falls like black velvet over the Louisiana swamp. Crickets chirp from afar, blending with Mississippi waves lapping softly at shore. Fresh mud, moss, and wildflower scents linger in air, like breaths of lingering storm souls. Amara sits by the window in her small edge of village house. Inside, an oil lamp flickers, casting golden light on wooden walls, where an unfinished embroidered cloth hangs a golden-scaled mermaid lifting the sun from water. She threads stitches slowly, steadily, as if weaving her own memories anew. Each needle passed through fabric, each golden thread gleaming in lamplight, makes the picture vivid as life. Outside, the river flows, quiet but profound, like an ancient heart's beat. Occasionally, Amara hears a soft underwater stir like breath, or faint song, rising then fading in night. Each time, she lifts her head, heart flooding with familiar yet strange feeling. After Thanksgiving Day, villagers return to daily life. They rebuild homes, restart markets, replant corn rows by river edges. They greet Amara with warm smiles, silent gratitude. They call her Water's Daughter, Mother Watt's chosen girl. Amara doesn't protest, only smiles, for she knows that title isn't for glory but duty. Tonight, river water glimmers unusually. Moonlight beams down, reflecting 1,000 tiny sparks, like golden scales drifting on surface. Amara sets the frame down, steps to porch. Cool air, insect hum in wind. She walks to river, feet brushing wet grass, skirt trailing dew. Beneath clear water, a light burns. Not fire, nor moon reflection. It's a pulsing glow, rhythmic, beating with her heart. Amara kneels, hand skimming surface. Cold water shivers her skin, but in that instant, soft energy flows through her body, not threatening, but inviting. The mermaid's image appears, hazy in depths. Hair flows like kelp, eyes brighter than moon. She says nothing, only extends hand, pointing to the twinkling light under riverbed. Amara understands, remnant of the curse, or perhaps an unrested, trapped soul. Her heart pounds. She doesn't want darkness again, but the river calls her name, pleading final action. Amara closes eyes, breathes deep, then whispers ancestors' prayer, the song Mama Ruth once sang. O water, O wind, O fire, if this soul yet unrests, grant it the path home. Wind swells, water swirls around her hand. The light bursts, radiating brilliant gold, illuminating the whole river. In that moment, Amara sees flashes Laya's face, Celeste's, her mother's, and her own as a child by fire, listening to tales. All merge, dissolve in light, then vanish. Water stills, no light left, only a small golden shell floats up, gleaming under moon. Amara lifts it, warm, like holding living breath. She smiles, presses shell to chest. In silence, she hears her heartbeat sync with rivers. She returns home, places shell on mother's altar. The altar candle suddenly dances, brighter. That light illuminates the unfinished embroidery, making the mermaid seem to move, hair flowing, golden tail curving, eyes smiling kindly. Amara feels a warm drop on her hand, but looking up, the ceiling dry. Is it Mother Watt's tear? Outside, dawn breaks. Sunrise stretches from east, pink rays through ancient oaks. The swamp glows like a golden mirror. Amara opens window, letting light flood in. In that moment, she senses clearly a cycle closes. No more darkness, only water's song, and new life's warmth. But deep riverbed, where light died, a faint glow lingers. It moves slowly, splits into two small sparks, like opening eyes. Surrounding water swirls gently, forming a sound like song. A new melody, unheard in human world. Amara doesn't see, but pauses at window, chill creeping skin. She gazes at river, tilts head, as if hearing a distant call. Then smiles, whispers, just for wind. If you're still there, rest now. Darkness has its home. Morning light bathes her face, radiant as gold. Church bells ring far, signaling peaceful life's return. Amara turns inside, lifts embroidery frame, resumes stitches. Outside, Mississippi flows not ominous anymore, but like a storyteller murmuring her tale to future generations. And on nights, villagers by hearth fires say sometimes, peering at moonlit water, they see two small golden lights swimming side by side. Some say it's Mother Watt and Laya's soul. Others believe two guardians keeping the swamp pure forever. And Amara, hearing that, only smiles, hand on chest, where she keeps the golden shell-proof true light never leaves the river. Morning floods New Orleans like a gentle song. Sunlight weaves through drooping oaks, reflecting thin golden threads on Mississippi like embroidery on silk. Warm vapor rises, enveloping wooden homes, herb-hung porches, making the village breathe. Amara sits before her sewing shop, nimble hands threading white fabric. Each stitch, she whispers a small prayer, not for herself, but river peace, for drifting souls in water depths. The cloth on her lap takes shape, a woman by river, curly hair waving like ripples, dress flowing into waves, and on her shoulder a child with moon-bright eyes. A soft breeze passes, jasmine mingling with fresh mud. Amara closes eyes briefly, savoring peace's taste once thought unreachable. The river whispers like an old storyteller, recounting a woman who faced darkness and found light. In the shop, a small cradle by window. Baby Zion sleeps soundly, tiny hand clutching white cloth mother uses to shade Sunday. His face serene, lips pursed, as if dreaming a world of waves and gold. Each glance at him, Amara feels deep heart tremor, not old pain, but reborn faith's beat. Outside, village children chase, laughter echoing over roofs, blending with sparrow chirps. No one mentions Celeste or curse anymore, all swept by river, returned to earth and wind. But somewhere, in noonday light, faint golden flecks fall like Mother Watt, still sprinkling blessings on land that endured too much dark. Amara looks up suddenly, to river. She sees her father, Jeremiah, at Old Dock, frayed shirt on shoulders, salt pepper hair wind-tossed. He releases white flowers to water a small rite for departed souls. Gestures slow, reverent, like a father thanking the world. He doesn't look at Amara, but she knows he feels her gaze. They understand in silence, like river branches reuniting after years apart. Time flows, but swamp keeps its rhythm rebirths. Turtles sun on banks again. Lotuses bloom pure white amid black mud. And evenings, frog chorus hums like life's choir. Sometimes, on moonlit nights, folks say a golden sparkle glimmers mid-river like a scale drifting in breeze. But Amara fears not. She knows it's no remnant dark, but Mother Watt's gaze watching, shielding, like a mother watching her grown child. She still keeps the golden shell close. Days, it rests on Mother's altar, gleaming amid small candles. Nights, by bed as reminder, love and faith never lost, just transform, like water always finding sea. Some quiet nights, she hears distant song, that melody gentle, profound, evoking days by hearth, Mother telling water spirit tales. She knows it's no fancy. The river retells her story, so it won't fade. One afternoon, as sun touches threshold, Mama Ruth visits. The silver-haired woman walks slowly, basket of cornbread and herb bundles in hand. She looks at Amara, eyes kind but profoundly bright. No words pass. Only whine through door, carrying pine resin and hearth smoke. Ruth sets basket down, touches Amara's shoulder, smiles faintly. That gaze needs no words. You fulfilled your destiny, but the flow doesn't end. Amara understands. Each generation faces its storm. New trial to guard light. She's first to light the candle. Others like her son, village girls, will keep it burning. Sky tints purple. River mirrors vivid sunset, gold orange, then blood red like earth memory. Amara carries Zion to porch, hums ancient lullaby. Her voice low, warm, stretching like lapping waves. Baby Zion smiles in sleep, tiny hands reaching like touching light. Across bank, fireflies rise, small golden specks like lost souls finding home. The sight stings Amara's eyes. She whispers, "Oh river, if I forget, remind me I was born of water. And if I stray, call my name as you once did." Wind answers with soft murmur, rippling river circles. Beneath, golden light flashes, then fades, like a kind god's nod. She cradles her son, gazes at color-shifting river under new moon, and in that instant, she comprehends. Every river holds memory, and that memory always returns to listeners. Night falls, light as a lullaby. Mississippi flows on, but now with new tone forgiveness, life, prayers made real. In that gentle dark, Amara closes eyes softly. She feels no longer alone, for around her, in every breeze, every dewdrop, souls smile ancestors, Mother Watt, and humanity's brightest heart. Summer's last night arrives soft as breath. Over Louisiana sky, full moon hangs, its light spilling on Mississippi, turning water to golden silk stretching to horizon. Ancient oaks mirror in depths, shadows quivering, like kneeling before unnamed sacred. Amara stands riverbank, oil lamp in hand. Curly hair cascades shoulders, catching golden light like honey gilt. Zion, now toddling, rests in her arms, wide eyes curious at world. He listens to water, as if understanding some ancient tongue. From afar, New Orleans village swells with harvest drum song. Villagers in white robes, candles lit, procession to riverbank singing, each flame a grateful soul, prayer to water and light powers. Mama Ruth leads, copper chalice of river water, mixed herbs in hand. Nearing Amara, she smiles faintly warm as harvest moon. Amara kneels, takes chalice, lips whispering thanks. Ruth touches Zion's head, traces wave mark on his forehead with water. "So, river knows you," she says, voice wind soft, "and your soul remembers birthplace." Gentle wind stirs, resin scent spreads, sweet with wet earth and faint ash. Amara gazes water, sees her and son's shadows blend, two forms dissolving in gold. No boundary between mother-child, human river. River stirs suddenly, ripples spread from midstream, then light blazes, golden scale glow. Beneath surface, Mermaid appears, hair cascading, scales like 1,000 tiny suns. Her eyes warm, no longer dream sad, but gentle, kind. Lips part, not warning, but new song serene, profound. Amara closes eyes, the song not just in ears, but cells, flowing veins. In that instant, all coexists, past, present, future, pain and forgiveness, tears and joy. River sings with her, sky earth with river, her heart with all. Suddenly Zion giggles, reaches for light. Mermaid tilts head, touches air lightly, letting bright water drop fall on boy's forehead. The drop spreads, thin glowing mark like sacred seal. Mother Watt blesses. Light fades slowly, leaving moon-reflecting ripples. Amara hugs son close. Her tears fall on his cheek, mingling sacred drop, making his skin shimmer in night. Not sad tears, but fulfillments of one who journeyed shores, dark to light. Across bank, villagers kneel as one. Harvest drums cease. Deep silence remains, only crickets and river lapping. Mama Ruth raises hands, voice deep and mighty. "We are water's children. Water holds our souls. And when we die, water calls us home." Her words blend wind, spreading far, making villagers' flames leap bright. Light reflects river, 100 falling stars reverse to water. Mississippi, now no mere river, but liquid sky. Amara lifts head, smiles. She knows. From now, river remembers her name. No longer curse-haunted, but forgiveness river, for believers and lovers. She carries Zion to village, past singing line, under oaks shading like giant hands. Each step imprints wet earth, leaving golden water trail like light path for generations. That night, New Orleans sleeps peaceful. Only river murmur and soft lullaby from Amara's window. On altar, golden shell glows gentle. Outside window, fireflies fill sky, 1,000 ancestor souls attending rite. Amara sits by cradle, touches son's hair lightly, She whispers, unheard. Zion, you're born of water, but you'll grow by light. Remember, water can swallow but also heal. And when you see river sparkle, ancestors smile. She kisses his forehead softly, gazes river last time. Surface mirrors moon and golden scales, twinkling like thousand tiny mirrors. In that moment, she sees herself again, the once frightened lost girl, now mother, firekeeper, chosen storyteller of water. A breeze stirs, flickering altar's last candle. Ember floats, hovers midair, vanishes in moonlight. Outside, Mississippi flows, gentle, endless like Mother Earth's heart. Amara's story closes like waves on memory, but for each listener, it's no mere legend but mirror to own faith. Water can take all, but also cleanses souls to begin anew. Amara learned, strongest curse comes not from magic, but jealousy and fear. And only faith, compassion, forgiveness break such chains. From Louisiana swamps to New Orleans streets, folks still tell of the woman who burned darkness with love, of golden-scaled mermaid blessing child named Zion Community's hope. If you're hearing this story, remember, every water drop you touch holds ancestors' memory. Love, believe, forgive for light, always pierces dark. And before leaving, share this story with loved ones, especially those needing small miracle. Don't forget comment below where you're watching from and what time it is now. We'd love to know, for who knows? Right now, Mother Watt listens with you, where river still sings,